everyone. Thank you for joining us for the webcast, 7 Deadly Sins of Recruiting, presented by Kimberly Casper, sponsored by JobFight. Before we begin, I would like to remind you that this webcast has been approved for IHR certification credits and 1 HRCI webcast for certification credit. You will receive an email within 1 to 2 business days of this webcast with the certification information. Please be sure to attend the complete webcast to receive your credits. Questions may be submitted anytime during the webcast by typing the question in the Ask a Question text field and clicking Submit, the orange button located on your screen. A Q&A session will take place at the end of the webcast. And I'll now turn it over to today's presenter, Kimberly Casper.
Thanks, Kathy. Let's go ahead and get started with the 7 deadly sins of recruiting. So once upon a time, finding candidates meant posting a job description and waiting for resumes to come in. Whether you did this in newspapers, posted a job to a job board, or focused exclusively on your career site, recruiters used to wait for prospective candidates to come to them. But today's generation of job seekers is different, and what worked in the past definitely not work for you today. The jobs of today did not exist 5 years ago. The rise of the app economy created new types of jobs with specialized experience. The jobs listed here are positions companies leveraging the JobBite platform are searching for today. And these jobs just did not exist before the app economy. You can see here things like the iPad game developer, the social media manager, a mobile marketing strategist, or an iPhone application developer. Those things were not even around 5 years ago. The jobs today require the right education, and sometimes this may mean that you need to retrain existing employees to adopt newly created roles, or that current candidates need to unlearn what they know and relearn new skills to adapt to the changes in the job market. There's also a shift in job seeker demographics. You can see here in the blue the working age population between 1970 and 2010 by country, and in the orange, the same countries with the working age population between 2010 and 2050. While all have dropped dramatically, 50% will see negative growth in the coming years. In 2011, baby boomers reached retirement age, and by the year 2018, half of the working population will be made up of Generation Y workers. And how you'll find those Generation Y workers will be dramatically different than how you found others. So each generation approaches work in a different way. Our grandparents were called traditionalists. They found a job and stayed with the company for a long period of time, sometimes only having one employer over their lifetime. Our parents were baby boomers. As a group, they were the wealthiest, most active, and most physically fit generation of their time. They were the first generation to grow up genuinely expecting the world to improve with time. And they also believed in long-term employment. And while they didn't stay with one employer for their careers, you did see limited job hopping from people of this generation. Generation X was the rise of what we call the free agent. Their independent childhoods led them to seek workplace autonomy and independence and to seek opportunities to make a visible difference and to use their creative abilities. They saw the baby boomers devoting their lives to their work and saw that loyalty repaid in layoffs and unstable corporations. As a result, they took their professional development into their own hands and looked for opportunities to further their careers at whatever company could help them move up that ladder. Generation Y are self-confident, they're optimistic, independent, and goal-oriented. They're blunt, they're savvy, they're demanding, and they're also high maintenance. They think in terms of their own personal fulfillment and ask if the job is interesting or satisfying. They want to know if the work is meaningful and important. They're also loyal and committed only so long as their organization provides them with variety and opportunity. They're really out-of-the-box thinkers who relish that opportunity. They relish responsibility. They also demand immediate feedback and expect a sense of accomplishment on a daily basis. They thrive on challenging work and creative expression, love freedom and flexibility, and hate to be micromanaged. And these are the people that you need to fire and hire, or find and hire. So there's new tools and technologies that are changing how you find candidates. As you know, employee referral programs have always been an important part of your sourcing strategy. However, today I think they're more critical than they ever have been. There are new technologies available that can really make your referral programs as simple as 1, 2, 3. They will track who referred whom, how, and through which channel. If you couple this with your own internal referral programs that reward employees for helping to source out great candidates, you've really hit a home run. Social recruiting platforms will also allow you to leverage your employees to help source potential candidates, leveraging all of their available social media channels. Your employees are increasingly social, and they're combining work and personal contacts into their social worlds. So leverage your employees and these social connections to help you find those passive candidates. Candidate resource management, or CRM systems, will really change your ongoing communication with prospective candidates. Recruiting-specific CRM systems allow you to engage with and nurture your growing talent pool with simplicity. And of course, big data and analytics will really help you understand everything about your recruiting funnel so you can optimize your hiring process and increase your overall ROI. So when everything changes, your job as a recruiter will change as well. As you wrap up 2013 and really get ready to start planning 2014, right now is the perfect time to rethink your perspective and really update any best practices. So today we're going to review the 7 top offenses that we hear today, and I'll be providing suggestions for improving those processes. The first one is I usually find candidates and forget them, especially when I learn they aren't ready to make a move just yet, or they might be a bit junior for that current role. I hear stories on a daily basis regarding the competitiveness of the job market and how hard it is to find qualified candidates. Regardless of what industry you're in or where your company is located, recruiters are really having a challenging time finding qualified candidates. In fact, I recently had an opening on my own team, and I ran into a situation where I found this fabulous candidate, and unfortunately she had not 1, not 2, but 8 other job offers. So as a recruiter, you really are focused on the roles that you currently have to fill. You're working on multiple open recs at any given time, and you're using all of the available data to find those perfect candidates. Once you've found them and have filled that open rec, what do you do with all the other applicants who might not have been a right fit at the time? They were great, but they weren't ready to make a change, or they're currently growing in their current role. Do you add them to a talent pool and forget about them until you have another opening for that team? You really shouldn't, and doing so will cause you to miss out on a bunch of qualified candidates. Today's candidates really require nurturing. So to nurture a candidate, you're really nourishing, feeding, educating, or training them. You need to treat candidates in the same way a marketer would treat a potential customer. As a marketer, right now, I nurture prospective customers every day. When I find the right prospect, I know that most of the time they're not ready to buy, but I want to provide them with the relevant content so that when they are ready to buy, my company is top of mind. So you really want to do the same thing. You want to provide your potential candidates with relevant content to help share your employment brand and give them a sense of what it's like to work for your company. Make sure the content is targeted. If they're graduating from college, you really want to make sure you have a college recruiting message. If they're an engineer, you want to make sure you have an engineering message. Marketing, a marketing message. If you don't provide relevant content, this will hurt your brand more than it will help. As an example, I get an email a month from a large company in San Francisco. I'm, I guess, in their talent pool. But unfortunately, the email they send to me is about entry-level engineering jobs. I'm not an entry-level, and I'm not an engineer. So I ignore their messages entirely. If their content was relevant, they might see better results. You also want to share your company vision, your employee success stories, and any open roles that you have. You really want to keep these prospects warm so that when they're ready to make a change, your company is who they think of. You also want to automate your nurturing programs to make your job easier. You want to set up a program once using that right content and move potential candidates into this program. The technology will then make sure the potential candidates get the message when you specify with the right message, and it doesn't get much easier than this. The second sin I hear is, the question, am I supposed to track that? Unfortunately, many recruiters lack the systems they need to accurately track all the interactions with potential candidates. And because they aren't tracking these, they may miss critical nuggets of information. So are you tracking where your applicants are coming from and where your hires originate? If you're using a spreadsheet to track open recs or volume of applies and even closed positions once you've hired someone, you're missing the chance to optimize your hiring process. If you know where applications originate and if those sources deliver candidates that you eventually hire, you can invest in the right source. If your data shows that your career site is bringing in the highest volume of applicants and those potential candidates are being hired, you might reallocate budget from job boards or outside recruiters to your career site to make sure it's quick and easy for candidates to understand the open roles and then apply. How do you report results to your key stakeholders such as hiring managers, your own manager, or the executive team? Do you have access to easy to understand reports that give you a depth of information to allow you to understand the overall effectiveness of programs and your team? If not, you really should. The reports shown here are samples from our platform, and they provide everyone from the hiring manager to the recruiting and executive team with the information they need to make educated decisions. Whatever systems you use, make sure the reporting tools provided allow you to quickly and easily understand what your funnel looks like, how your campaigns are performing, the status of your open recs, and your KPIs, which are your key performance indicators. If you don't have a set of KPIs, every publication focused on recruiting has a recommended set of KPIs, and most vendors will also walk through your system and the data and make some recommendations for you. Understanding your data is critical because, as you can see here, according to a 2012 study by the Boston Consulting Group, CEOs report that recruiting delivers 40% more profit growth than the next HR function. That's more than talent management, learning, or employee engagement enhancements. In fact, in a PwC study, a similar percentage of CEOs also reported that they had to slow down mission-critical strategies because they didn't have the team in place to execute on that strategy. So recruiting really is a critical function within your company. However, if you aren't tracking information and understanding your recruiting funnel, you probably aren't able to deliver this type of value to your organization. Understanding this data will get you a seat at the table. To get that seat, you really need to understand what you track and why you track it. You really need to understand the ROI of your recruiting efforts, your spend across your sourcing and recruiting mix, where your recruiting budget is going, and if it's all balanced. Do you spend money on channels such as job boards, outside recruiters, events, anything else? Or are you heavy in one channel while ignoring the others? Your data will uncover exactly how you're spending and what the split is across all those different channels. You also need to leverage the data from all of your systems. That's a really simple process, and it has a lasting impact. If you don't know how to develop an ROI, let me know. We're happy to help you do that, and there's lots of other organizations out there that will help you with that as well. Once you really understand your ROI, you really need to share it with your executive team. Sell what you're doing, the impact you have on the organization, and the value of the services that you are providing. The third sin we frequently hear is, I really have enough prospective candidates, so I don't need to feed the funnel. To this, I laugh. You've got to be kidding me. Unless you're Google or an ultra-hot company of the week, chances are you don't have enough qualified candidates. And as you know, hiring is increasingly competitive. And as such, you really cannot count your chickens before they hatch. You always need to be recruiting. You need to think proactively about finding candidates as workers because they're not going to flock to you without effort on your part. Just posting a job online isn't going to cut it anymore. You'll be inundated with resumes from unqualified people, and you'll spend your precious time focusing on the wrong candidates. You really need to understand who your target audience is and have a plan for finding those people. You need to get your name out there even if you aren't hiring. Build that lasting talent pool and nurture those prospective candidates so that when you're hiring, you have warm prospects already teed up. As a recruiter, nothing is worse than starting a search cold. So do something about it and make sure you're out there creating contacts even if there isn't an opening yet. Make sure you do know what's coming in terms of hiring as far in advance as possible. Understanding the different hiring needs, and if you have access to reports and data such as how long it takes on average to fill those roles, you will know how far in advance you need to start sourcing those great candidates. And finally, you always want to be branding. Really understand your employment brand, what it is, what it stands for, and what works. And also what work, if any, needs to be done. Your employment brand is critical, and we'll go through this in a bit more detail later on in the presentation. We all know that the best possible candidates may not be actively searching for a role, and these are called passive candidates. They aren't out there seeking a new role or scanning the job boards or interviewing. However, they might be open to a conversation if you reach out. We encourage companies to leverage employee referral programs, including all the social channels, to reach this untapped audience. Our data shows that candidates sourced through employee referral programs are hired more frequently than those sourced through other channels. The data that you're seeing on the screen right now is data pulled from the JobBite platform. So this is data based on over 1,000 different companies using social referrals to try to find people. So you can see that data right here. The other interesting thing is that they're hired 55% faster than those who come in via your career site. Why is this? More than likely, they're already aware of the company and the culture based on the feedback they have from others in the organization. And since they were referred by people already in the organization, it is more likely than not that they'll be a cultural fit and a closer all-around fit than someone that's net new to the company. Referral candidates are not only hired more frequently in less time, but they also stay longest with the company. And again, this is data pulled from the JobBite platform. And you can see here, over a 3-year span, people that are hired through employee referrals, hired through career sites, and hired through job boards, and their average length of employment. Why do these people stay much longer? It's because they know the company coming in, and they aren't surprised by what they find. They know people, most likely they have established relationships, and they know what to expect. These are not the employees that join and immediately have buyer's remorse. The fourth sin is, who needs PR? Our employment brand is fine. This is a really big mistake. Even the most well-known and respected brands always are focusing on their employment brand. They know that this is a competitive differentiator and an area where they can let their culture shine. I recently read a report that shared 84% of companies believe a clearly defined strategy is a key to achieving employer branding objectives. That 59% of companies use their career website to communicate that brand. However, only 41% of companies have developed an employer brand strategy. So where do you start? You really need to know how potential candidates view your company. So Glassdoor is one way you can better understand what your current and former employees say about your company, what candidates are saying after interviewing, and how others view your company. I know that we focus here at JobBite heavily on this site as one of the ways we manage our employment brand. We know that prospective employees go here to check us out before they apply for a job or even come in to interview. Because of that, we manage this page on the Glassdoor site. We make sure candidates have everything they need to help make an informed decision about our company. We share awards, news, product information, product demos, reviews that we have, videos and photos from company events, you name it, we post it here because we really want them to get a holistic view of the company. We also leverage all the feedback we receive on the site. If there's something that's negative that's posted, we address it. We want to know what others think so that we can improve what we're doing, and getting this feedback is a critical piece of the puzzle. This feedback also helps us adjust the employment brand as needed. We want to make sure that the employment brand is accurately reflecting what people see in the company. Candidates are much more informed than they have ever been in the past. You know, Glassdoor isn't the only source for prospective employees to find information. It is one of the major ones. So make sure you're also checking out Quora and other sites, and that you really know where your candidates are looking for information on your company. You want to make sure you're participating in discussions and that you are really being present where your audience is. Candidates are also leveraging social channels to learn about you. So make sure you're managing those social channels as well. Starbucks, they're a customer of ours, and they do an incredibly good job using Twitter to share their employment brand. If you haven't looked at Starbucks jobs on Twitter, you definitely should go out there and do that. They have an account specific to the recruiting team, and they share information about open roles, the company culture, information about the different locations, executive views, promotions. It's just a wealth of employment information. You really get a sense of what it would be like to be part of that team. They have over 50,000 followers on this Twitter channel, and they share, everything they share via this channel absolutely cultivates that company brand and their employment brand. So many other brands do this really well too. Recruiters at companies such as Zappos have worked with their marketing counterparts to really understand how to effectively brand their company on these pages. However, instead of branding the products that that company sells, they're branding the company and they're selling their open jobs through these pages. Another channel that we see our customers use in addition to LinkedIn and Facebook is Pinterest. We're seeing customers such as Flipboard here on the screen. They leverage the site to share their employment brand and also to help find creative talent. They share who they are, what they do, and their employment stories through boards, and also search for the talent through the open roles that they post. They have really focused on their employment brand, and they know their audience, and they're marketing to this audience where they are. This is incredibly smart on their part. The fifth sin is I'm sticking with my current approach of sourcing the web for resumes because it's worked before. We really are not advocating that you give this up. However, if this is the only way you find potential candidates, you're missing a really large audience. You don't want to get stuck expending effort just because it's worked in the past. You want to start with that low-hanging fruit. Again, research shows that internal and employee referrals not only make your job easier, but they also produce the longer-lasting results. We've discussed referral programs a bit, but I'll remind you that the data shows referral candidates can be 5 times more likely to get hired than any other candidates. Again, that's because educated employees know that their role is to seek out individuals with superior skills and experience. They want to work with people like them. They also realize that referral candidates are proactively sought out, and they're pre-screened by employees who know the job and the company. So the candidate pool is higher quality. So having those pre-screened candidates saves you time and makes your hiring managers happy. The well-designed referral program will produce a high percentage of candidates who are a strong cultural fit. And again, that's because your employees know the culture and they're able to screen out those who might be a weak fit. And again, this means that your hiring managers don't waste time on candidates that might be wrong. And also remember that not everyone with a job is on LinkedIn. In fact, I know people that get so many email messages and requests that they've actually removed their profiles from LinkedIn. So if you believe you'll find everyone you could potentially meet there, you're absolutely wrong. This would be like a marketer believing every prospect will search using Google. It's just not the case. Like a marketer, you need multiple ways in which you find potential candidates, and LinkedIn absolutely should be one of those channels. It shouldn't be your only channel. Again, we've discussed employee referral programs and why you should use them. And you should make sure that that component or that referrals are a component of your overall sourcing strategy. And finally, you need to be creative with where you look. And again, really, really know your audience. What are the social sites your potential candidates visit? How do they consume information? How do they want to be communicated with? And having a clear understanding of your audience will help you uncover where your target audience is spending time. We know creative recruiters that are using other sites such as Stack Overflow and GitHub to source engineering talent. We also know people that are using Vimeo and Yammer and more. So once you know and understand your audience, understanding where they hang out is really easy. Our sixth sin is, this is basic marketing stuff. I don't need executive buy-in. I'm doing fine right now. You're right. This is basic marketing. However, it has to be applied to the recruiting funnel. So once you've done this, you will indeed find that recruiting absolutely is marketing. Marketing professionals know how to optimize prospect movement through the funnel. And those people that are doing that are in high demand. As many of you know from searching for those people, their skills are highly sought, and their ability to perform this optimization makes them a critical hire for the company. Remember that search I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation where I extended an offer to a candidate and she had 8 other jobs? This was the job that she was doing. How many of you have heard or seen your company's marketing funnel? This is an example on the screen. The marketing funnel is a structured methodology for mapping your current sales prospects. It gets its name from the shape and also by the fact that it's intended to show where those prospects are as you attempt to move them towards close. A marketing professional needs to cast a wide net in order to bring in prospects that sales needs, and they do this via campaigns. So they're leveraging email, search, or the web. Once a prospect has responded to a campaign, they enter the funnel. They're scored based on implicit and explicit data, and based on the score, they're either passed to sales hot, or they go into a marketing automation system such as Marketo or Eloqua to be nurtured. Nurturing is done via a series of automated emails that are designed to help engage with a prospect and warm them up. This is done so that when the prospect is ready to make a purchase, they're warm and more receptive to contact from the sales rep. Once warm, that sales rep does reach out, and hopefully they close the prospect. Throughout the funnel, marketing is constantly measuring and making adjustments. Done right, this funnel can be a strategic competitive differentiator for your company. So recruiters now need to do the same. Like marketers, you need to cast a wide net to source prospective candidates. You need to build out campaigns to reach your target audience, and we'll need a centralized database to hold their contact information to build your talent pool. You need to nurture those prospective candidates who aren't yet ready to make that switch. You all know that great candidate that just isn't there yet. Don't you want to keep engaged with him or her so that when they are ready, you are the first person that they think of? Once you've nurtured candidates and they've re-engaged, you'll want to make sure you can quickly and easily schedule, interview, and receive feedback from the hiring managers with the end goal of making an offer. And like a marketer, you need access to real-time data to optimize that process throughout the funnel. The top of the funnel, you need to leverage your employees and their connections to help you find the right talent by harnessing the power of social media. These solutions provide your employees with fast and easy-to-use applications for sharing job openings with their social networks. This allows you to reach more passive candidates, promote your company's employment brand, track your success, and spot your top referring employees, all with an eye at cost efficiency. Recruiting-specific candidate resource management systems, or CRMs, are the centralized system that helps you search for, collect, and cultivate that lasting talent pool. Again, similar to marketing automation technologies such as Marketo or Eloqua, these CRMs allow you to nurture the prospective candidates and build campaigns so that when you're ready to switch jobs, you're the company that people want to engage with. ATSs help you close the deal. With that applicant tracking system, You get the power to manage your entire hiring and applicant tracking process with just a few clicks. And just like a marketer optimizes their funnel performance with access to real-time data and analytics, you need that reporting and analytics tool to provide you with real-time data to support your decision making. Our final sin is the belief that if I build it, they will come. You know this isn't the field of dreams. You need a solid recruiting strategy, including an employee referral program that leverages social technologies and tools. You need a nurturing program, and you need a clear understanding of your employment brand. Once you have that, you can build a career site that tells your story and helps you capture prospective candidates. You do need to have an amazing career site, and it has to reinforce your employment brand. RMS is a current client of JobSeekers, and they have consistently won awards for the work they've done with their career site. You can see here, just the top of the page, but RMS understands that when you build an amazing career site, you need to think about it like an e-commerce retailer does. At the end of the day, a retailer cares about only one thing. Does the potential customer put something into their shopping cart and buy? As a recruiter, that's what you need to care about as well. Your end goal is for potential applicants to click on the open positions and apply. Your career site can become a competitive differentiator. If it's easy for a finance manager to apply on your site and it takes 30 minutes to do so on a competitor's site, where do you think that they'll apply? RMS realizes that they're competing in this valley for the same talent as everybody else. They're not a technology company. And so they're really using their career site as that competitive differentiator. Through their career site, you get a clear understanding of who they are, what they stand for, and why you should be part of their company. You can watch videos, you can chat with recruiters, and see how they're helping their customers succeed. You want to be part of this company even before you view the open roles. It's a really great site. So here's an example of a company that doesn't understand their career site should be viewed in the same way as an e-commerce site. This is from a company with extensive retailing experience, so it's very surprising. This is a well-known, trendy company, and just for fun, I applied for a job there earlier this week. In doing so, I found a couple of different problems that will impact their ability to close candidates that are coming to their site. First of all, I couldn't find their career site when I actually went there. I had to search all over for it and finally found it buried in the footer with 25 other links. Once there, instead of sharing the company culture, I found the standard boilerplate, our companies are our biggest stars language, and there was a search box, and so I searched for jobs there. But before I could even search, there was some confusing language about creating an account and logging in before searching for the jobs, or that maybe my password might not work, and if it did, I needed to do something else. If I didn't really want to apply, I would have abandoned the page right there, but I kept going. I was finally able to search for a job and found one that I was interested in. To apply, I then had to register for the site and complete a profile. There were probably about 50 fields of information that were required. As any e-commerce site will tell you, you want to make it easy for people to provide you with information you need, and asking a potential candidate to fill out 50 different fields, create a profile, and then finally upload a resume is really asking a lot. The candidate experience is critical, and the company is making it difficult for people to apply for their open roles. Now let's look at what RMS has done. Careers is the top part of their website, so it's in the top-level navigation. It's actually underlined in red on their homepage, so your eye is definitely drawn to it. Once on the career page, again, I can learn about the company, meet the people I would work with, chat with recruiters, and I can view all the jobs. I found a job that was interesting to me, so I clicked to apply there. From there, I could quickly and easily either apply with LinkedIn or upload my resume. I spent about 3 minutes on their apply page. By making it easy for potential candidates to apply, I suspect that their abandon rate on the page is incredibly low. And as a result, they're able to really capture great talent right from that career site. It's no wonder that the Candies, which is the Candidate Experience Awards program, it recognizes companies that value the candidate experience. They continue to acknowledge the work that RMS has done, and they continue to receive awards. It's really, really impressive. Having a killer career site also means making sure that your site is optimized for mobile. Why is this? According to a recent study by CareerBuilder, nearly 1/3 of CareerBuilder's traffic each month comes from mobile devices. However, CareerBuilder tracking shows that as much as 40% of mobile candidates abandon the application process when they are notified that they're about to encounter a non-mobile friendly apply process. Companies who aren't, or companies who are mobile optimized have a distinct advantage. That same CareerBuilder survey found that of the 20% of companies who have mobile optimized career sites, 1 in 5 applications come through these devices. Nearly 1 in 10 companies said mobile accounts for at least half of their applications. So 40% of your career site traffic is considerable. Can you afford to lose this on a daily basis? I know that we can't. So the war for talent is real, and attracting qualified Gen Y candidates is a challenge. So here you see the top 7 sins we hear about on a daily basis. I've provided you with some solutions to address these challenges. You can also visit our website, which is jobbite.com, where we have a resource center, and we have a lot of ebooks and other information that addresses these in a much more in-depth manner. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have, and we'll turn it back over to Kathy. Kathy, are you there?
Hello, yes, we have no questions at this time. Oh, wait, we just have one come in. Just one moment. Let me just read it. How do you define employment brand?
Your employment brand is, it's how people perceive your company. What it would be like to work at your company and your organization, what they would expect to experience being part of that team. It's sharing the values, the vision, how what the future of the company is going to be, how teams interact. You really want to, your employment brand should give people a great view of who the company is, not the products you sell, but who you are as a company and what they could expect from being part of that team.
Thank you. We have another question from Rita. Does your tracking take into account the new OFCCP requirements for applicant tracking?
So the JobBite specific platform does take that into consideration. I know that there are other platforms out there as well, but the JobBite does, yes.
Okay, another question from Jennifer. How do you find these tips are working for small businesses? It seems this may be geared toward larger businesses.
That's a great question. These tips actually work across the board. So, I built these tips based on a lot of the feedback we hear from our customers. And we have over 1,000 customers that span from really small companies with under 10 employees to huge corporations with 10,000 or more employees. These are all tips that can be leveraged by the one-person recruiting team up to the much larger recruiting team. It's really figuring out what needs to be done and how to prioritize those needs. And if I was looking at one thing, I would look at that marketing funnel and recruiting funnel and the similarities there, because once you have a really clear understanding of your recruiting funnel, it just becomes an optimization model at that point. And you know exactly where you need to look to make small changes that can have a very, very big impact on your organization.
Next question, what are the best steps to start building a better employee referral program?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What are the best steps to start building a better employee referral program?
I think the best steps are to, you need to understand who your employees are, where they're out, what they're out doing on all the different social networks. Having a tool that will allow you to tap into those social networks. There are many companies that put enticement around referrals. So, for bringing in or referring people, you get bonuses. We hear of some companies that do very small bonuses, some companies that do very, very large bonuses based on referring those qualified candidates in. There's companies that do a lot of contests around that. Making sure that you have a way to track those employee referrals. I know our platform allows you to track 3 deep. So meaning that I can get 3 levels of information. I can know if I sent it to Katie, Katie sent it to somebody else, and then that somebody else sent it to someone else. So understanding where it went and where it came from are really, really, really important. And so making sure that you have the right technology to give you that information is super important. Just posting, posters in your elevator about an internal employee referral program isn't going to cut it anymore.
Thank you. Question, what would be a magical formula of having a combination of all these items, all the 7 items?
Oh my goodness, that's a great question. I would have, a just great employment brand, really know and understand your employment brand and have that solidified. I would have that marketing funnel figured out, and I would make sure that I have nurturing technology to help me do my job. And then the final piece is to make sure that I have the reporting. That nurturing piece, I can't underscore how important that is and how much easier that is going to make a recruiter's job. I'm in marketing, so I use it for my prospects on a daily basis, and it makes a huge difference. I know that the right message is going to the right audience at the right time, and I don't have to remember to do it. I set it up, and then it kind of goes on its own. And if you're a recruiter with multiple openings that you need to fill, hot priorities that are coming in on a daily basis, having this set up in the back and executing on its own is a time saver. And then again at the bottom, making sure that you have the reports. You really, really, really need to understand what's working so that you can optimize and understand what's working and what's not. That's kind of the magic, and I guess your career site folds into that as well, making sure that you have that great career site. And it doesn't have to be something that you go to an agency and pay thousands and thousands of dollars to do. We have templates that we provide our customers, and we also do custom career sites very easily and very inexpensively. I know that there's other companies that do that as well. So it can be done, and done the right way, leveraging resources and not have to cost a fortune too.
Thank you. Another question. You mentioned trying to find out where the candidates hang out so you can target them through sites other than LinkedIn. We capture referral source when a prospect registers, but sometimes the information can be misleading. What is the best way to gather this data?
I would talk to your employees. I know that our recruiters here, and so we're in the San Francisco Bay Area, and engineering talent is a tough thing to find. And I know that our recruiters go over to the engineering team. It's like, where do you guys go? What events are you going to? What sites are you hanging out on? Where do you congregate? What bars do you guys hang out at? They're asking the people that are doing the work at our companies where they hang out with their peers. And then they're leveraging that information to go find qualified candidates. I think it's brilliant. It's a great way to find that untapped source that maybe your competitors don't know about. And it's not difficult. It's a 20-minute conversation with people in a department. You can pop into a team meeting and easily get that information at a meeting that already exists. Super, super, super easy.
If you have any if you have any other questions for Kimberly, please submit them now. In the meantime, I just want to remind the audience that the archive webcast and a PDF of this presentation will be available on the HR.com site within 24 hours, located under the archive webcast listing. For all registered attendees, you will receive a follow-up email within 1 to 2 business days, which will contain the HRCI program code for this webcast. We have no other questions at this time, Kimberly, so I do want to remind the audience that we, JobBite and HR.com, appreciate your feedback. Please take a minute at the very end of the webcast to complete the evaluation survey that will appear on your screen. Kimberly, do you have any closing comments?
I don't. Thank you so much for having me. And if anybody has questions, they can always reach out to me directly at kimberly@jobbite.com.
Great. Thank you very much, Kimberly, for sharing your time and content with us today, and for everybody on the call. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Great. Thank you.